This episode is brought to you by Goals.com, the sales performance platform built to help teams stay focused, motivated, and on track. While most CRMs just track data, Goals.com drives real results. It's simple, affordable, and designed to help your sales team hit targets faster, without the headache of complex setup or costly consultants. Whether you're using a CRM or not, Goals.com works seamlessly to elevate your performance. Book a fun, fast demo today at Goals.com.
Today on the Goals.com podcast, we're talking with a guy who doesn't just build projects, he builds relationships, reputations, and repeat business. Nick Johnson is the Director of Business Development at Ryzec Building Group, where he's helping national brands like quick service restaurants and major retailers bring their vision to life. From fast-paced franchise rollouts to affordable housing, Nick's seen it all. And today, he's sharing the sales mindset and strategies that keep him closing deals and delivering results in one of the toughest industries out there. Nick, you ready to get into it?
Absolutely. Appreciate the intro, Andrew.
You've worked across commercial real estate, NNN properties, and now construction. How did the career journey shape the way you approach business development today?
Yeah, so between commercial real estate and triple net properties, along with the construction approach, it's kind of given me a 360-degree view of the entire industry, particularly in real estate, commercial, and triple net properties. A lot of the focus is on the returns and the long-term positioning, whereas construction, it's more execution, precision, and delivering on time. So I really have taken the business development approach and kind of been the bridge between all those worlds. And so from my understanding, I know what investors care about on the long-term side and the returns. I know what tenants need as far as getting into a property, fixing stuff up, and then how builders obviously bring it all to life, which is really the perspective that kind of helps me speak to everyone's language and builds their trust rather quickly.
What drew you to join Ryzec Building Group, and what makes the culture there different from other general contractors?
Yeah. So what caught my attention the most wasn't just their hunger and their, I say, opportunistic approach towards construction, but how they've built lasting relationships. Isaac has been in the Nashville area for going on 17 years. Up until 2024, didn't even have a working website. So you can say that a lot of stuff was built handshake deals. And I really saw an opportunity to come make a difference, obviously, where, we're doing things like this today and building trust over the internet. And obviously, it says a lot of GCs have culture. A lot of companies say they have culture, but Ryzec lives it every day. We really go after, the speed more than anything with a lot of the quick service restaurants, a lot of car washes that we build. And we really take that client's brand and elevate it, not just about the overall experience, but we care just as much whether it's a 300 square foot building or a 3 million square foot building. And that's what makes our partners feel like they're part of something bigger, not just another project on the books.
I love it. You've been both a builder of structures and of relationships. Do you see any parallels between the two?
Absolutely. Obviously, both, being a builder of structures on the construction side and then, of course, relationships, both of them require, in my opinion, vision, patience, and strong foundations. Those are the three biggest. And if you cut corners on any of those, whether that's with concrete or trust, everything cracks. But if you invest in the groundwork and follow through with, just nonstop consistency, what you build will truly stand the test of time.
Business development in construction is often a long game. What strategies have you found work best for earning trust and winning repeat business?
Yeah, so it's kind of a wash, rinse, and repeat process for me, which I use the three main ones is consistency, authenticity, trust, and patience. I think a lot of relationships on average, are taken anywhere from 18 months, 36 months. I've seen some really gear up and show that you need 5 to 10 years before you even see a handshake turn into a project, which is really great because if you keep showing up, you add value to the relationship, and you treat every interaction as if it's an investment, I think people will tend to remember you and they'll come back to you when the timing is right.
For sure. How do you tailor your sales approach when working with national restaurant brands versus retail or affordable housing clients?
Yeah, so national brands. So one of our biggest clients is Chick-fil-A. A lot of what they care about is the scale, speed, and keeping the consistent brand. So, we got to be good, got to be quick. And what a lot of projects that we've done over the years is, we're given 60, 90-day deadlines or timelines. Sometimes they got to be built typically in higher education centers or food courts. For example, we've done one with Belmont University here in Nashville. We are just about to wrap one up this Friday at the University of North Alabama in Florence, Alabama. And, we were given an execution timeline of 60 days. I think we did it in 42. So it really speaks a lot on what these national brands want. They want quickness, they want speed, but they also want quality because they're all teed up. I don't know about you, Andrew, but I've seen a lot of Chick-fil-A's in my life, and they're always just down and out, and they know what they're doing. Whereas, just your standard retail, whether it's a mom and pop shop or even affordable housing, it's trying to maximize impact and stretch every dollar. So, you have a little bit more luxury on your side to say, hey, we can take our time with this if we're not in a rush. And, the retail side kind of lives in the middle between affordable housing and more like quick service restaurants because it's also focused on the customer's experience. So they really want it to be slow and steady. Whereas almost everything that I approach, it's all about listening and adapting to that tone.
Got it. In construction, deadlines and budgets are critical. How do you communicate value beyond just price and timeline?
What I've heard every general contractor probably across the United States say is that, we can do it within this timeline, we can do it the cheapest, but really I like to focus on partnership and peace of mind because I feel like lots of people can say, "Oh, it's on time and on budget." But the real question is, do you trust me or do you trust the person you're going to hire to protect your brand, protect your reputation and your stakeholders and or investors? That's where I really believe that I deliver the most amount of value and go way behind or beyond the contract of what's in there.
Have you ever had a deal or a project that looked impossible to win, but you landed it anyway? If so, what happened?
Yeah. So those wins usually, they come down to persistence and creativity for me. Really, the deals I remember most, there's not one particular that comes to mind, but they're not about being the cheapest, but really showing the client, we understood their vision better than anyone else. Because, if you don't see how someone wants to see their project come to life, it really just becomes down to the dollar. And I truly have always said, if you can prove, and I know it gets hard, but sometimes you win by showing heart, not just horsepower and numbers.
QSR sector has very aggressive build-out timelines. What's the biggest challenge in meeting those, and how do you overcome it?
Yeah, so I think I had shared with you at another question that some of these timelines, like Chick-fil-A, some of the car washes, Starbucks, they're 90-day timelines. We got to be quick. The real coordination issues or struggle is making sure the trades are aligned, making sure permits are all pulled and approved, and really all the materials are on site. Because, we like to approach it with I say a NASCAR pit crew is kind of how I approach it. When they're ready to boom, pop up there and you got to change those tires, change the oil, get back on track. That's kind of my approach. So I like to make sure that, there's no room for error.
Affordable housing is a hot topic right now. What's your take on where the market is headed in the next few years?
Yeah, so obviously affordable housing, not only is it needed, but it is growing in almost every major city that I'm aware of. I know specifically here in Nashville, it's become a very popular topic, and there are some revolutionary leaders like my friend Evan Holiday of Holiday Ventures. A shout out Evan, he's a great guy and does a lot of great work for the community of Nashville. And the real challenge is balancing affordability with quality, because I think a lot of people they say affordable, well, it's relative. What is affordable, right? I think, you look at a city like Nashville and it's become very expensive to live here. So a lot of developers are trying to figure out, well, hey, how can we also have granite countertops, nice finishes, and all the good pros and cons to a building and also make it affordable? So, if we can crack that, I really believe that affordable housing will shift from hot topic to more of a long-term solution for all cities involved.
That's awesome. How is technology changing the way you sell and deliver in construction?
Yeah. So technology is obviously great. It's how we're doing this, right? In construction specifically, I know I live and die by my CRM. I use Monday.com. It's been a fairly good one. I've used plenty of others, HubSpot, Salesforce, a lot of these other big ones. Specifically in construction, I know that, there's Red Team and Procore and a lot of other construction components. And I think that's really revolutionizing the way construction companies go after business, specifically ones like us here at Ryzec. We spend a lot of time and a lot of details with companies like Chick-fil-A. So it's really kind of taking AI, putting it towards speeding up the process, putting it towards estimating or planning for some of the architecture components and features into a property. And really, if it all adds up to more clarity and confidence for the client, for the project, I think that's what everyone wants.
You serve as chairman of the board for CCC Nashville. What's the biggest lesson you've learned about networking, relationship building at that scale?
Yeah, I wake up every day, and this is kind of really become my mantra uh, to life. Is it's not about collecting business cards. It's not about being the fanciest dress in the room. It's about how much value you can create for others first, not second, not last, but think of others first. And whether that's an introduction and you just met somebody, I don't care what you're selling, what you're building, it's all about how you can create value for somebody else. And I think if you come in with that energy, you focus on giving and not getting, I think your network becomes your greatest multiplier.
What's your philosophy on building and leading high performing business development teams?
So I think what a lot of companies do, not just across construction, but sales teams specifically, they focus on top producing sales reps. They focus on highest revenue generating income or, an approach, Wolf of Wall Street like, right? Where you're competing and you have dashboards where you can see what, that salesperson brought in. I don't think it comes down to that. I think more, at least in the construction industry, it comes down to really creating problem solvers on your team because quite honestly, I can sit here, I can say I'm either the best salesman in the world and I'll pull the Jordan Belfort, sell me this pen, right? But that's not how projects are built. And I don't know anyone that decides or picks a GC that says, oh, hey, this guy threw on his salesman shoes. Let's go with him. I think it's really about, hey, how can you evolve as a company and solve all these issues, whether it's permitting, the civil engineer side. There's just so many factors that come into construction that I think you really need to learn and hear what that person or company wants.
When you're in the early stages of a relationship with a prospective client, how do you read the room, so to speak, and decide what approach to take?
Yeah, so I think, specifically in construction and development, as you could probably tell from this interview, that I like to talk, but at the same time, my method that's worked over the years is I listen. Before I say anything, I let everybody else do the talking and really try to hear what they are good at, what they don't like. And then, of course, it's all about the questions and the follow up. I mean, I know it's age old news and nothing new, but if you ask the right questions, I think that really leads to finding out what you want to get out of that relationship or that person. Because, I've certainly said, hey, Andrew, not even just, hey, how's your day, but how can I help better solve your problems or issues right now?
What's a sales leadership lesson you've learned the hard way, but now wouldn't trade for anything?
So I think this is very personal, but I think it's the idea of being too eager to close or win. Not that it's necessarily burnt me out but I've noticed it across multiple industries that everyone gets so excited. They basically count on a sale or they count on a transaction to go through. And then what do they know? The client, the customer pulls out, doesn't have enough money, whatever the case may be, might not even like you. I don't know. Let's hope not. But, I think that I would take your time. I think something that comes into play with building a relationship is you don't become the world's best, salesperson, the best general contractor by hitting all the hot topics or their pain points. It's about building that trust and reliability.
Yeah, patience is key.
Yep.
If a young business development rep came to you wanting to break into construction sales, what's the one piece of advice you'd give them?
Man, that's a wonderful question, Andrew. Wonderful. Honestly, kind of piggybacks off of what you had just asked me. Treat this career or the opportunity you're given. Yes, you need to have urgency, but treat it like a marathon, not a sprint. Because if you try to sprint to the end, obviously, if you've ever done a marathon, you usually don't come in first if you're sprinting right out the get-go. And, this industry specifically, construction, commercial real estate, and development, it rewards people for being persistent, having good integrity, and of all things, consistency. But if you focus on learning and really building those genuine relationships, I think adding value along the way will show up, and the wins, they'll come to you. They might not happen overnight, but they'll come.
All right, guys, that's a wrap on today's conversation with Nick Johnson of Ryzec Building Group. From building restaurants to building relationship, Nick reminds us that in sales, the real foundation is trust, and the best deals are the ones that stand the test of time. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a fellow sales pro who could use a little construction-grade inspiration. Until next time, keep setting goals, keep hitting targets, and keep building your own success story. Nick, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Andrew. Have a great day, everyone.
This episode is brought to you by Goals.com, the sales performance platform built to help teams stay focused, motivated, and on track. While most CRMs just track data, Goals.com drives real results. It's simple, affordable, and designed to help your sales team hit targets faster, without the headache of complex setup or costly consultants. Whether you're using a CRM or not, Goals.com works seamlessly to elevate your performance. Book a fun, fast demo today at Goals.com.